Hi, I'm Paul Welburn, Executive Chef at the Oxford Kitchen. I'm here today doing a fantastic dish with a lovely cut of picanha steak. We're going to barbecue that with some charred leeks, a beer and barley glaze and a celery wrap puree. The rump cap, otherwise known as the tri-cut or the picanha, it's not got a lot of marbling, but it has got a lot of flavour. Grass-fed Irish outdoor reared beef is fantastic. It's had a good life. It's roamed the fields, eating that grass, and literally now it's produced a fantastic product, which I think obviously anything that's good in the product finishes in the final dish. So we're going to brine this in literally a 15% brine, salt water, for an hour. And we're putting a little bit of dark beer in there, obviously to keep that flavour going throughout the dish of beer, the hops, that kind of earthy flavours that we're trying to impart now. And then obviously we'll come later on with more glazes and some garnishes with there that will enhance it. We've now washed it off, dried it. Now we're going to portion it. Now the good thing about the steak here is, although it's a strange shape, we can get some really good cuts of meat. We can get a nice uniform cook all the way through, but we're keeping that fat on top. The fat's the most important part. So I'm going to trim a tiny bit of this fat off here, purely just to get an even covering. You can see the colour of that. Beautiful, beautiful product. Now we're going to use a barbecue today for this, but you can do it on a regular pan, a griddle pan in the kitchen. It's not a problem. I just feel that with the smoky undertones that we're trying to go through this dish, this earthy, grassy notes, the smokiness just literally enhances it. So the next step is making a dry rub. Now adding more flavour, so the next level of flavour. A little bit of sugar for sweetness. That also helps to caramelise on the actual outside of the meat when we're cooking it. A little bit of bite from some English mustard powder, some ground black pepper, smoked Maldon sea salt, and then a little bit of paprika, smoked paprika. Again, a fantastic ingredient that just literally enhances that smoky notes on the meat as it's cooking. So I've got lovely steaks. And I'm being quite generous with this seasoning. I'm not going to, you're going to lose some on the grilling, but you want to make sure you get a decent layer on there. And make sure you don't forget about the fat on top. And when it cooks, that layer of fat will naturally baste the meat when it'll keep basting it with more of this flavour coming out of it. So this is not going to be marinated. This is going to be purely a final seasoning before we hit it up on the barbecue. So a little tiny bit of oil just to help it to not stick to the bars. This is reading about 30 degrees, so you want a nice, intense, high heat. That's what you're looking for, that sizzle. That's creating that crust, that flavour. So obviously if you are using the griddle pan, just make sure you get that pan super smoking hot. If you don't get that heat, the meat's going to stew, the pan's going to cool down too fast, and you end up with stewing your steak. There'll be no crust. So get that pan really, really hot. We've got the luxury of barbecue here. I recommend that, but you don't have to. So it's that flavour working on then. So while steaks are cooking down the barbecue, I'm going to make the next stage, which is the glaze. This is a beer barley glaze, just to enhance that flavour and add that extra layer of crust to the steaks themselves. So we have some dark beer again, exactly the same. Soy sauce, a little bit of Marmite, that yeasty sort of salty kick. And this is barley malt extract. Nice sweetness, but you're still left with that real nice flavour of the malt, the barley. It creates a nice sticky glaze. And then a little tiny bit of beef sauce, just to keep that beefy notes going. We're going to sort of warm that on the stove now, and then keep brushing that over the steaks on the barbecue. So I want to baste this about 3 or 4 times. Each time keep turning the steaks, getting that caramelisation, getting that just crust it forming, getting nice and crusty on the outside, and just keep the flavour going. Okay, so the steaks are here now, they've been rested. Resting is key, it's critical. Smell is amazing, smoky. To start with on the dish, some celery wrap puree. We've now got the smoked barbecue leeks. To the outside layer off. You're left with a real nice smoky leek. On the dish, 1, 2, 3. Very natural presentation, just literally gonna lay those leeks over. Little tiny bit of monk's beard, it's fantastic. It's got that real nice grassy notes that also help to bring through that flavour of that beef. For a bit of crunch, a little bit of puffed pill barley for a bit of texture. A little salsa verde, just nice and herby. Just keeps that freshness, a bit of acidity there, because there's not a lot of acidity in this dish. And again, the leek, we don't waste nothing. The leek roots, we're just taking them off, dress them in a bit of house dressing, and they just sit on there to finish. So there we have the final dish. A big glazed Irish grass-fed picanha steak, celeriac, smoked leeks, salsa verde.